In this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can subset or extract sequences from fasta by using the tool Seqtk. And let me also say that the ebook as well as the script for this tutorial are all available on my Patreon channel. So check the description box for the link and then you can use that to get the materials. So take note of that. Now, Seqtk can be found on this GitHub repo. I will leave the link to this repo in the description box. So when you are here, you can scroll down and then reach the introduction here. So this gives a brief description of the tool and what it can be used for. So for this tutorial, we are first going to download and set it up. And then we are going to download an example data that we will use for the exercise. So let's get started. So first visit this page. Again, the link is in the description box. So scroll down after visiting this page and then you'll find the instruction for setting it up here. So we have that here. Now for this tutorial, we are going to run everything on a Linux system. So just make sure you also have a Linux system. In addition, you should have Git installed. We'll use this to clone the repository. And then you should also have this library installed, zlib. These are the requirements for this tutorial. So just make sure to set them up. If you have any challenge, you can always contact me and then we can work it out somehow. So that's about it. So let's continue. So now that we are done with the intro, let's open our terminal and then start the exercise. Okay, so we are in the terminal now. So what I'll do next is to cd to my home directory, and then I am going to clone the Seqtk repository. So let's go back to the page and then check the command. So there's a command for cloning the repository. So I'll just do a copy and paste. So I'll just copy the command. Yeah, so that's it. If you don't have Git installed, then you can just come to code, click it, and then download the zip file and then extract the contents. Then we take it out from there. But I recommend that you use Git. All right, so let's go back to the terminal. So on the terminal, I'll just paste the command I copied. That's it. And then I'll execute the command. So this will download the repository. So after that, we can do an ls. And then if the files have been downloaded, we are going to find a directory called Seqtk. So you can even ls into it to see the files in there. Okay. Now the next activity is to cd into the Seqtk directory and then issue the make command. So we will do that now. So I'll cd into Seqtk and then I'll issue the make command. So make. So let's execute this command. So once we do that, the tool will be compiled and then we can proceed. Everything has been done now. This was quick. So let's do an ls. So if everything has been done successfully, then we are going to find this file, Seqtk. So this is the executable. This is what we are going to use. So now everything has been set up. You can even say /Seqtk and to show something like this. Let's just clear the screen and do it again. I'll say /Seqtk. Then I'll execute it. So if everything is okay, then you are going to see this text coming up. Okay. So that has been done. So now let's cd back. I'll just say cd // to get back to the previous directory. That is where I was first. Okay. So you will notice something. When we were in the, let's go back. When we were in the Seqtk directory, we did what? /Seqtk to just test. That's worked fine. But then if you cd back to where you were first, Let's do an ls. Now we are back, so we will see this directory again. So now let's do an ls. We are going to find our file there. So now what happens is, if you want to execute Seqtk again, now that you have moved from that directory, you just have to say Seqtk /Seqtk. That should also work. Let me do it again. You just have to say Seqtk /Seqtk, and then the executable will be executed. But then with this approach, it can be problematic because already we have issued it twice, and then we have to use different approaches. The first one, we have to use // and now we are saying Seqtk. Let me just do it again. We are saying Seqtk. Let me just do it again. First, we use this command, and now we also use Seqtk /Seqtk. Okay, so already we are complicating things. So what we are going to do next is to configure our system so that when we issue Seqtk like this, the executable will be opened, okay, for us. So that's what we are going to do next. At the moment, our system has not been configured to do that. So that is why if you issue Seqtk like this, we are going to find command not found, or we're also going to find this and others. So we are going to set it up now. So let's look at how to do that. So let's first do an ls again to look at our files. So I assume you're already in the home directory. That's why I read the cd first. So what we are going to do next is to create a directory called apps. So I'll say make the apps. I usually have a directory where I place all my tools or software or apps, applications. So I'll create a directory here again. It's just a way to organize my stuffs. So I'll say make the apps. And then what I'm going to do next is to move the Seqtk directory into that one. So I'll say mv Seqtk, I'll say apps. I'll move it there. So now if I do an ls, I'll see the app directory, but I'll not see the Seqtk. So ls into apps, and we are going to find Seqtk there. That's how it is. So we are still on course. So now we are going to cd into the Seqtk directory. So I'll say cd apps /Seqtk. Of course, if I do an ls, I'm going to find my files. Okay. But what I want at this point in time is the path to this file. That's what I need. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say pwd to get this one. So this is what I need. This is what I need for the extra settings I'm going to do. So let's proceed. So I'll just take notes of this. Can also copy. You can also copy yours. Just take note of whatever has been displayed for you. That's what we are going to use next. So now let's clear the screen. Well, let me just say, let's just do a cd first. Let's cd back to our home directory. So I'll say cd. That should be better. So cd first, and then let's clear the screen. All right. Let's do an ls again just to look at our files. Yeah. So now what we are going to do next is to edit our .bashrc file. That's what we are going to do next. So basically, that's what we are going to do. Let's just do a test here. So on this interface, on this terminal now, issue this command: export path equals $path : and then paste the path that was displayed for you, the path that you got when you seeded into the apps directory in the Seqtk directory. So this is what I got. This was mine. So whatever you got, paste the same thing there, and then execute this command. Nice. So if everything is okay, then nothing will be displayed here. So let's proceed. So once this has been done, if everything is okay, nothing will be displayed. Now let's confirm. So let's type Seqtk like this. You can even say Seqtk. Let's just use this one here. So type Seqtk like this and then execute the command. So if everything is okay, then you are going to see this text coming up. So that means that that command was a success. So I repeat, make sure you use this command and then here you paste whatever was displayed for you earlier on. That's what you need. Now, what we've done so far, the changes have taken place. Let me just repeat. What we have done so far, the changes have taken effect. Okay, but it's only on this terminal. So if you open a new terminal, then you will need to reissue this command again. Now let's open a new terminal and then test. Okay, so I have opened a new terminal. So I'll type Seqtk and then I'll still have the same issue, command not found. So what we are going to do next is to make this change here that we made persistent. That means that every terminal we open, that change will be affected so that we can always issue Seqtk like this. So copy this command, the one that you use to export it. I'll copy mine, by the way. And then let's do this. Let's cd to our home directory. Let's say cd. And then let's edit the .bashrc file. So it's a hidden file. So I'll first make a backup of it. I'll say cp.bashrc. And I'll say bashrc.back. This is just a copy. It's just a backup. We are not going to use it anyway. It's just a backup so that you can reverse things if things are not going well. So let's do an ls and we are going to find this file there. Right, now we are going to edit that .bashrc file, this one here. We are going to edit it. So you can use any text editor. You can use Nano or VI or any text editor, but I prefer to use Nano. So I'll say nano.bashrc and I'll execute it. So this will open this terminal for me and then I'll scroll down to an empty section. I think I already have some tools installed, but it doesn't matter anyway. I'll just scroll down to some parts. So just scroll down to where you have an empty space. I think just the lower parts of your interface. Okay, so anywhere should be fine. So when I'm here, I will paste that export command again here. So that's it. So it's just simple. So just paste it there and then exit and save changes. So mine is Control X and then I'll type Y and then I'll save the changes. So now I'll open a new terminal again and then I'll test. So try to also do same. Okay, now we have opened a new terminal. So type Seqtk and then if everything is okay, you are going to find the text being displayed. So this is how we set up Seqtk. Okay, now let's proceed. So let's clear the screen and then proceed. So what we are going to do next is to download an example data. So let's go back. So Seqtk gives us the instructions for subsetting the fasta files or maybe extracting sequences. I'll scroll down a bit. The section is somewhere here. Yeah, we have them here, extracting sequences with names. So you can extract using a list. So you have a text file with the names of interest. You can also extract by using a bed file. For this tutorial, I'll focus on this approach here. I will later make a tutorial where I show how to use the bed file as the inputs. So this is what we are going to do. So we need an example data. So with the example data, I've prepared one. So go to this GitHub repo of mine The link to this page is also in the description box, and then look for Seqtk files episode 1. This is what we need. So to download, click it, and then you'll be sent to another page. So come to the right side, there's a download button here. So click it, and then you'll be asked to download. Alternatively, you can use the download link. Because I'm going to work on a terminal, I will get a download link. So I'll just right click, and then I'll copy the link. So it says copy link address. So I'll just copy it. And then I'll move to the terminal and then download it there. So on the terminal, I'll just create the directory. I'll say make the fasta processing, or you can just use any name of your choice. Okay, that's also possible to do that. So just decide the name that you want. Okay, so let me just say data, let's say data extraction. Or we can even say sequence extraction. I think this would be a better name. So sequence underscore extraction. And then I'm going to cd into it. Then I'm going to download the example data. So I'll say wget, and then I'll supply it with a link, this download link here, and I'll execute it. So this will download it for me. So now it has been downloaded. So let's do an ls, and we're going to find this file. It's a zip file. So we need to unzip it. So I'll say unzip. Then I'll specify the file name, which has been done. So now I'll do an ls, and we are going to find your files. We have a fasta file. I also have the names here. So this has sequences. This has the names. So I'll start with the gems.fasta. I'll just do a head just to look at some of them. We have some there. So we have them here. I can also grep all the sequence names. So that means I'll use this one here. So I'll say grep. But let me just do it here rather. I'll say grep. I bring my quotes, my greater than symbol, and then gems.fasta. So this will list just the names for me, the sequence names. I have them here. Okay, so this is everything. But what we want is to extract some of the sequences. So those that are of interest are here in this file, name.txt. So let's do a cut to this place. I'll say cut names.txt. So I have some sequences. So these are the names. So we are going to call Seqtk and then specify this name so that we will get these sequences in a separate file, or separate files for us. So that's what we are going to do next. So let's look at that. So let's go back to Seqtk. So this is the instruction. We call Seqtk, we say subseq, and then we specify the fasta file, the main file, and then the list which has the names, and then we specify an output file. So it's very simple and straightforward. So let's go and then look at it. So there are two scenarios. We are first going to extract all these sequences into a single file, and then we're also going to look at how to extract each of these sequences here to a separate file. So that's what we are going to do next. Okay, so let's start. So to extract the sequences, all of these into a single file, that's what we are going to do. Now for that one, let's say you have, let me just say this. So doing that can serve some purpose. For example, if let's say you want to perform multiple sequence alignments, you have a particular fasta file which has sequences that you want to use, then you just get them in this list, and then you execute Seqtk, and then all of them will be in a single file, and then you can perform your multiple sequence alignments. So that's one purpose of getting all of them in a single FASTA file. So let's do that. Let's start. So you will say to extract these sequences, these 4 sequences from this FASTA file to a single file. We say Seqtk, and we say sub seq, and then we specify the input FASTA file, which is this one, and that will be gens.fasta. And then we also need to supply the names. Let's confirm with the command. So supply with the names. So that will be what in a list file. So mine is what names.txt. Yours should be the same. And then we bring our greater than symbol and we say gens of interest.fasta. Let's just put it this way. So let's execute this command. Perfect, that has been done. So now if I do an ls, I'm going to find my gens of interest, or those that are extracted here. So let's do a head into it. We have some sequences here, but then we can still confirm by checking just the names. So I can just do this. I can say grep, and then I will say gens of interest .fasta, just to get the names. And so what happens is here, Seqtk will take a look at the FASTA files, and then where the names, the ones we listed, let me just list them again. If the names are found in any of the sequence names in the original file here, then they will be extracted. So for example, we have DNA, blah, blah, blah. Here we have DNA. So it's take a look at all the names that have DNA in them, and then it will extract them. So that's what is happening here. So once there's a hit, then Seqtk will do the extraction. So it's up to you to supply Seqtk with the right names. That one is up to you. Seqtk will not do that. So you will have to make sure that you place in the correct names. It's garbage in, garbage out. So what you feed in is what you get. So make sure you supply the right information. Okay, so there's one way. Now, what about if, let's say, for all these gens, you want to extract them to separate files? So that means instead of getting a single file like this, you are going to get 4 files. 4 files, and each of the files will have a particular sequence, i.e. this one. So how do we do that? So for that one, we can do that by writing a bash script. We can also use a one-liner command, which I'm going to show you now. I think that will be fast and quick. But if you have more than 4 files, if you have lots of them, maybe you may have to use a better approach. This one is just a simple approach to let you know how to do these stuffs. Okay, so here I already have the names. I know them here, so I'll just type them here. So that's how we do it. So I can say for name in DNA space ARGC MURQ IP OB comma, not comma, yeah, so there's a semicolon, yeah, repeat, semicolon. So it's a loop, by the way, and then I'll say do, and then I'll issue the Seqtk command again. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I will say echo double quotes $name. I bring this greater than symbol, and I'll say name.txt. And I bring another colon here, and I say Seqtk subseq james.fasta. Now say name.txt. And then we redirect to an output file. So we add our quotes, that double quotes, $name, double quotes, and I'll say dot fasta, another semicolon, and I'll say done. Let me just reduce the font size here a bit. So I'll just change it to 19. That should be fine. Okay, still a bit larger. So this is the final command. We will try another version of this command, so don't worry. This one is a single liner command, but we will try another one too, so don't worry. I just want to show you the different approaches. So this is how we do it. Okay, so first we get all the 4 names, and then we send the names, each of the names at each point in time. We send that name to another text file. So we save it in this text file, and then we call Seqtk, and then when we call Seqtk, we have to supply a text file that has the names, and that is name.txt. That is what we had here. And then we direct the output, the final output, to this text file. So we have $name. So $name here represents each of these names here. The $name in double quotes is different from name.txt. So take note of that. So that's how we do it. So let's execute this command. Perfect. So if everything is done, when we do an ls, we are going to find our files here. Let me enlarge the font size again to the original one. That was 23, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so that's how we do it. So we'll have, then let's do an ls again. So we have all the files saved. So let's do an ls star.fasta to see the files. Then we have this, and this. And to confirm, you can just do a grep on one of them. We are expecting to see its name in the header. So we can say grep let's use argc.fasta. So we should see its name there. We can also say head argc.fasta just to confirm, and we have them also here. Okay, so this has worked. So I assume that the others have also worked. So that's how we do it for individual fasta files or individual names. Now let's continue. So as a beginner, this command might be a bit complicated. So we are going to look at another version of this command. So it's just a breakdown to make things simpler for you. And the other thing we also have to look at is, if you do an ls, you have all these files in our current working directory. So we can modify it so that the new files are saved to a new directory. So we are going to do that now. So let's take a look at something here. I'll open a bash script, and then from there we can proceed. So in that bash script, we are going to make our scripts much simpler, or let me just say scripts much easier to understand. We will use a simpler one, not really simple, but a different approach that beginners can easily understand. So let's open a bash script and then do that now. So I'll open mine now. So with a bash script, you can use any text editor. You can use Nano, or you can use VI, or any text editor. That's also fine, but I prefer to use Nano. So I'll say Nano extracts.sh. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll open it now. Okay, so in the bash script, I'll just add my shebang line. And then when I come here, I'll say meda extracts, or you can also say output files. That's fine. Let's use output files. And then you issue the command. I repeat, we are going to reissue the command we use. So I'll say for name in, and then we will recall the names again. So we have axi. We also have DNA. We also have MURQ. And we also have RPOB. These are the names. So there's a loop. Okay, then let's go to the next line. We say do, then another line. So here we say echo, we bring our quotes, $name, we redirect to an output file that will be name.txt. Then the next line we will call Seqtk. So we say Seqtk subseq gens.fasta, and we say name.txt. Then we redirect to an output file that will be quotes $name.fasta. Okay, now here if you do it, it will still be in our current directory, so we can specify an output directory here. Of course, that is what we did here. We already created that directory, so I'll just add it here. So I'll clear this and then proceed with that. You can still leave it as it is, by the way, but I'll do it this way. So I'll say output file slash, I'll bring my double quotes, I'll say $name.fasta. Then the next line, I'll say done. It's that simple and straightforward. So let's close and save the changes. So I'll say Control X, and then I'll say Y, and I'll save the changes. That has been done. Now let's take a look at the commands. I'll say cat extra.sh. Here's the command. So with the command, if we execute it, we will not see anything happening, so which can be confusing. So let's modify the command again. Let's add something else. So when we come here, let's do this. Let's add that here. We can say echo $name. It should be in quotes, by the way. Echo $name has been extracted. So let's add this. You can choose to leave it, it's fine, but just add it and then proceed. So let's exit the changes, exit and save changes. Okay, so now I'm going to issue another command to run it. So first I'll need to add execution right. So I can say chmod +x extract.sh +x. So let me just do it again. chmod +x, and I'll say extract.sh, and then I'll execute the command. So if I do an ls, I'll see my script there, and I'm going to execute it. So let's do that now. So to execute, there are two ways. You can use // and call the script, or you can also say bash extra.sh. So any of them should be fine. So I'll try this approach now. I'll say bash extra.sh. So I'll execute the script now. Perfect. So I can see the notification here. So let's do an ls. We are going to find a directory called output files. So let's ls into it, and we are going to find our extracted files there. Okay, so this makes it simpler and easier. Instead of saving the output files in the same current directory, which can be confusing, you can just create a directory and then just place all of them there like what we have done. So I'll just do a grep on one of them. So output files axc.fasta to get it there. I'll reissue the command. At this time, I'll just say head to confirm. Perfect. So that has been done. Okay, so this is how we extract sequences from a fasta file using the Seqtk tool. Okay, so try on hands, and please take note that let's take a look at this. The approach I used to write the bash scripts, let me just do it this way. Let me display the main names, this one here. So I had 4 files here. Let me just say 4 names here because these are names or samples or whatever. And then in the bash script, I issued this command like this. So this one can be used if you have few names or few samples or few sequences of interest. But if you have, let's say, hundreds or thousands of sequences, then using this approach where you say for naming this and this and this and this can be cumbersome and complicated. So in that situation, there's another way to do it, which I'll show later in another tutorial. So those are the things you also have to factor in. So that's it. And if you also have multiple fasta files that you are going to extract sequences from, you also need to modify the script and do that. So whatever be the case, if you have such tasks and you are facing challenges, you can always contact me and then we can work something out. So that's about it. So that will be all for this tutorial. And if you're also interested in learning how to use Python for extracting sequences, then you can check this video out.